Hey there, YouTube! Happy Monday! It's me, Tori, and today I'm finally setting up this watercolor palette. It is the Mijello Mission Gold watercolor set. It comes with 36 7 milliliter tubes and this really cool plastic palette. So I'm gonna do things a little bit differently. So instead of doing a full-on review right on the spot, I want to take my time. So that means today will be an unboxing, tomorrow will be a first impressions, and throughout the week I will be using this set, and hopefully possibly by Friday, I will have collected all my thoughts for a full-on review. Maybe Friday, maybe next week, we shall see. But yes, with that said, I'm gonna do my best to not indulge any first impressions today and wait for all that for tomorrow because I will totally get carried away. But I will share a few things that did happen today that pertains to setting up this palette, which I must say was a true delight. Wow, like this is so stunning. The packaging, the gold tubes, everything was so pretty. Like I felt really spoiled today, and I'm finally thankful that I gave myself this opportunity to indulge and celebrate with these paints. So a little bit about this palette. They're made in Korea. I purchased this particular set on Amazon 2 years ago. 2 years! On February 2018. Man, I'm so bad. But yes, I bought this for 62 US dollars. I believe right now it's 65. I've heard mixed reviews about the Mission Gold watercolors, that there are a lot of unusual multi-pigment blends, and that they're sometimes difficult to mix with. And to be honest, I'm really excited to experience that myself firsthand to see what these are all about. There are 105 colors available, and you know what I'm really thankful and appreciate about these watercolors? Their labels. Not only do they have the pretty gold and the names and the pigment callouts, but they actually have information about how do they stain and their opacity. That's so helpful and nice. Thank you, Mijello, for making that happen. While I was pouring the paints into the wells, I noticed that it was kind of runny, so I won't be dipping directly into these today. I'm gonna wait for them to dry up a little bit so I don't contaminate the entire well. So instead, I'll be swatching from these little dots. They're kind of cute. I also shook up the paints extra well before making these dots, just in case it was not mixed well enough and that it separated and was liquidy. Hoping it helps. Crossing fingers. I'm also trying out a different paper to do all these swatches on. Last week I mentioned that I no longer want to use the Canson XL watercolor paper, so I'm going to try out the Fabriano Studio cold press today. This particular paper has 25% cotton. I thought it would be kind of a step up, but still affordable. It's currently $4 on Jerry's for this particular stock of paper. What I like about this paper is that it has a prominent texture, which will enhance any granulation properties, and that's what I enjoy in my work. Alrighty, enjoy the swatch session. I am super duper sorry that my drafting table is shaky. It's defective. It's a little nauseating, to be honest, to watch this footage. I'm really hoping one day I'll replace it, but that's a one day far into the future. I'm just gonna chit chat about some observations I made while swatching today. To begin with, these paints are so bright. Wow, they're stunning, they're saturated, they're so clear and clean and just pop, especially that bright opera. I think it may be one of my few favorite opera colors. This is just so unique. On the whole general note about the whole watercolor selection, they kind of remind me of the Prima Tropicals palette. They have that vivid color vibe, and the more I think about it, I don't think the Mijello Mission Golds are traditional watercolors that we tend to think of. I think I'm gonna treat them like my Prima watercolors, where they're more designer, boutique watercolors. And I'm totally a-okay with that because it's nice to have variety on the market. more about the watercolors. So the tube names don't really match up with the pigment callouts, especially the blues and the greens. For example, cerulean is not an actual cerulean, it's phthalo blue, and viridian is actually phthalo green. So I've noticed that phthalo has been omitted as a term on their naming and packaging. For example, we have this beautiful peacock blue, but it's really just a phthalo blue-green combo, which could have been like a phthalo turquoise, and oh well. So with that said, just keep an eye out for pigment information if you're ever interested in picking up these paints. Just know what you're getting yourself into, and especially the earth tone colors, they're not single pigments, they're blends, to the point where they're kind of amped up with all the added like yellow pigments and the red pigments, that they're not neutralized earthy colors that we're used to. They're just more vivid when they're sheared out. On that note of earth tone colors, my Van Dyke is a bit dead and I'm so sad. I have been really looking forward to actually owning a Van Dyke brown in my collection. It's something I've been greatly anticipating and something I've been wanting to mix with. One last color I want to point out, because I'm very intrigued by this color, is the indigo. It doesn't really look like indigo. It kind of looks more black or Payne's gray, and I'm not gonna lie, it looks handsome. That's a nice color. It's pretty. But yes, I'm not sure if my particular tube is incorrect or if my tube has separated, so I'm gonna have to cross-reference with my art YouTuber friends if their Mijello indigo looks like this. If you're watching this video, let me know. For comparisons, I have a swatch of ivory black on the right, and it's really cool to see how this ivory black looks almost warm next to indigo. Yay, color is relative. Okie dokie, now for some demo art. What would Sketchbook Habit series be without sketchbook action? So I'm gonna do a really quick, simple portrait test. I like to do this whenever I'm experimenting with new paints. The goal with this exercise is to focus on the performance of the paint and not really making the art look good. So by doing a simple portrait, something that I know how to do like the back of my hand, like this is a no-brainer for me. This allows me to really just see the paint flow, see how it mixes, see how it layers. Like, this is really exciting for me to do. I'm mainly grabbing colors from the little dollops that I made earlier. Like I mentioned in previous videos, I like using excess paint on my palette, just use up everything. The main driving force in today's piece is the color indigo. I'm very intrigued and amused by this color. So I'm doing like a spooky Wednesday Addams painting today. I've actually never really drawn her before, so I'm really glad this is finally happening. She has been on my wish list of fan art. So yes, about color mixing. To manipulate the color indigo, I am using the light red and Prussian blue to shift the temperatures of indigo, either leaning warm or cool. For the skin tones, I'm using yellow green as my base and experimenting with the permanent red and the permanent rose. I just find these two colors to be very, very pretty and like, I want to mix skin tones. And to be honest, dear friends, I'm really happy with this set. Like, my little art soul just feels like it's understood. I'm very inspired to make a mini palette from this larger set. I'm not really into large sets because I like holding a tiny set in my left hand and painting with my right. Like, that's just something I'm comfortable, and it's very energetic for me to paint that way. But yes, I really resonate with these intense colors, and I find that they lend to my mixing habits. So crossing fingers, I hope tomorrow I will continue to like these. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you had fun. If you have used these watercolors before, let me know down below. I would love to hear about your experience. Do you hate them? Do you love them? Do you have additional colors like outside of this set? With 105 colors, there's just so many things to try. Actually, I'm quite curious. Do you think I'm going to fall madly in love with the Mijellos? Or do you think by the end of this week, I'm going to loathe them and never want to see them again? Comment down below what do you think is going to happen, and we shall see together. Alrighty, I'm going to peace on out. Keep on drawing, dear friends. See you tomorrow, alright?